Jimmy K here, Metal Voice. Look at this. The Metal Voice shirts are now on sale. Just go to the video description to find out on how you can purchase one. Metal! Welcome to the Metal Voice. Today on the show, the one and only Rob Halford, singer of Judas Priest, and of course, nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and also the winner of the Hall of Heavy Metal History Award back in 2017 at Wacken. What's going on, Rob?
Hey, Jimmy. What's up, brother? Good to speak with you. And hey, Metal Voice. Yeah, feeling good, man. Good to reconnect and talk about all things metal.
All right, good. So Celestial, the new album. It's been a while, I guess. Your second Christmas album. And I guess the first question to you is, why did you feel the need to make another Christmas album?
Well, this is a special one for me, Jimmy, because I've got my brother on drums and my nephew on bass and a couple of their respective friends on guitars, John Blakey and Robert Jones, good friends of mine now as well. So, you know, we kind of wrap this up as Halford family and friends, because that's exactly what it is. And it just seemed like a great opportunity to work with my immediate family that I wanted to do for years, because my brother and my nephew are really, really good musicians. So the timing was right, you know, and of all the things that we thought we could do together, we were together a couple of Christmases ago, and we were listening to some winter songs, and I said, hey, why don't we just do what we can make in this theme, this holiday theme, together, as, you know, make some new songs, some traditional songs, and what we can do. And that was the green light, and what a great time we had. You know, the way the record turned out was just phenomenal. It was just great. The guys just did an incredible job, Jimmy.
And you know, you have some old classic Christmas songs and you have some new songs. How do you go about writing a new Christmas song? Right? I mean, what do you do? Like, okay, I'm going to talk about Santa, I'm going to talk about Jesus. Well, how do you go about it?
You know, Jimmy, you know how metal works. As far as the music, it kind of, you know, you're constantly inspired by what you're listening to. And for us, I think the inspiration came from working on these wonderful traditional holiday Christmas classics like Away in a Manger and Joy to the World, Hark the Herald Angels Sings. These songs have been with us forever. And firstly, a great song. So a great song will always take a different interpretation. So when I was hearing the arrangements coming back, I said to the guys, you know, while we're at this, let's just see what we can come up together in terms of originality. So, you know, it was just a thrill to have an opportunity to have, 3 original tracks, Donna and Blitzen, and Protected by the Light, and Morning Star. So those were kind of bonus moments that came out of the great kind of knock-on effect from making the traditional songs.
Did you grow up very Christian? Was it a very Christian upbringing did you have? Or how did you grow up? Very Christmas-like? Or just was it strictly kind of like the paganism of Christianity? Or was it a Christian upbringing that you had?
Well, you know, I think like a lot of people, I was raised by a family, my mum and dad, bless and rest their souls, that basically, you know, they taught us right from wrong, and we did what a lot of people do. You know, you go to church for baptisms and weddings and funerals and, you know, respect your friends' occurrences in that respect. So we were never churchgoers full time in that part of our life, and I think that's the case for most people, quite frankly. But the faith-based part of my life was there right from an early age, you know, and I kind of carried that with me through life, and more so as you get, Jimmy, as you get older.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Mortality's there, and you go, what's going to happen next, you know? So a lot of us find a calling to that side of ourselves, probably later on in life than we do in general. So, yeah, I've made it very, very clear in our metal community that the spiritual side of my life is a very strong one. I've always felt a little bit, I always have respect and empathy and understanding for all religions, but I think religion has created so many difficulties in life that I like to free myself from the branding of religion and just talk more about faith-based and spirituality, and that's how it works for me. But here's the deal. Our beautiful metal community is so receptive and embracing and unconditional about the way we love each other and take care of each other, that how people, how our metal maniacs live with each other in all walks of life, straight, gay, bisexual, transgender, questioning, black, white, Latino, Asian. None of that matters to us. Christian, Jew, Hindu, Buddhist, Sikh. None of that matters to us. It's all about living with each other and sharing great times together with our metal and with our music.
I gotta say something. I'm not really a big fan of Christmas albums in general, but I gotta say, when I listened to yours, I really dug it. So you got a fan. You've converted one non-Christmas metal album guy.
That's great, man. I'm so happy to hear you say that, because that's what music does. It breaks down barriers. It reaches to people in different ways, emotionally, through what's coming through the speakers, and that makes me feel good to know that, there was a connection for you with this record, because I'd like to feel that this isn't, this isn't like I got to be careful how I choose my words here, but what I'm trying to say is this is an unusual kind of Christmas record in terms of the arrangements and just the adventures that the guys that take us on. Like Good King Wenceslas is a really epic track, and we have some funky thrashing fun with Hark the Herald Angels in.
Yes.
Get quite moody with Away in a Manger. So, yeah, it's an unusual record in that respect, and slowly but surely, metalheads are kind of digging that vibe.
And let's switch gears. And I know there's not a lot of time. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Okay.
You guys have been in, at least nominated. I mean, how do you, and I know there's a lot of heat on the KK side. I mean, what do you foresee as the sort of final presentation if you win? I mean, are you going to bring in the old members? Are you going to bring in, Kiss only went as four. I mean, how do you foresee it coming down?
Yeah. I think we're going to have to wait until the day, quite frankly. But it's Judas Priest in every aspect, in every respect. And to be nominated for the second time is another thrill and an honor for everything that we love about Judas Priest and the 50 years that we'll have been around as a metal band next year. So, if we get in, it's not just for Priest, it's for metal. That's what the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is doing now. It's embracing all different genres of music, including metal. Got a lot of my metal buddies in there already. Yeah. And I know a lot of them have voted for us, which is really cool. So, hey man, whatever turns out will be great for Priest and be great for metal.
All right, and actually another question. Have you heard about the Three Tremors?
Hey man, yeah, I know of those guys.
How does that make you feel?
It makes you feel great. They're wonderful singers, and they're doing something really cool and special. And I wish them all the success in the world with it.
All right, cool. All right, thank you very much, Rob. Everybody go out there, pick up Celestial. It converted me. It made me want to buy a Christmas album. I thought it was great. Thank you so much, Rob. Jimmy K here, Metal Voice. Look at this. The Metal Voice shirts are now on sale. Just go to the video description to find out on how you can purchase one. Metal! Second part of the interview on the Metal Voice, we got Paulo Ressio, the drummer of Dr. Pheabes, a Brazilian band. For those of you who do not know, these guys have been around. How long have you been around for, Paulo?
Oh, man, too long.
I want to ask you quickly about being a hard rock band or hard rock, trying to make it in this sort of the music industry in Brazil. What is it like for guys growing up thinking they can make it big in Brazil?
I feel like it's like, it's almost like a myth kind of status, if you make it out of Brazil, like in very, 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 very few bands that were like metal bands or rock bands like that, got to do that for a living. It's very rare. But and on the opposite, you have like huge crowds like Rock in Rio, amazing festivals like Lollapalooza, and you play these amazing shows and like 50,000, 60,000, 100,000 people show up to watch the bands, and they all know all the songs, and the crowd's just like, just like, how does that work? So everyone loves rock and roll, but like little, like barely no bands like made it out of like Brazil kind of thing. So it's like, it's kind of like, there's like a huge crowd for it, and not many bands have made it out of here. So we were just we've always wanted to be authentic. That's why we're like, okay, let's sing in English instead of singing in Portuguese. Because we grew up like listening to Van Halen and all these bands, Peter Frampton and you name it, like Queen, Led Zeppelin, and all these bands, and so for us, it was a matter of like, okay, we're going to carry on the legacy and do it right, the way we think it's right, and the way we feel it's right, because, that's what it's all about. Like, rock and roll, you have to feel it, and that's the way we feel our songs and our band, and we were just like, all right, let's have fun and play shows and, and just really get it out there and keep it alive, And there's a lot of, it's amazing how many responses we've been getting from the fans all over the world. Like, they're really supportive, and they're like, man, and everyone's got a favorite song. You know what I mean? That's the coolest thing. Like, the other interview, like the guy was like, oh, why you guys like making records, and what drives you guys to make records? Like, that's the same answer. Like, we grew up like listening, like those bands were famous for their records. Like, nobody says like, oh, Metallica, Anderson. They say like, oh, the Black Album is badass. Because you have that relationship with the whole legacy, and there's a legacy and a history that you kind of like respect and you want to follow, and that's what we come. Like we're a classic rock band, a hard rock band, like rock and roll band from Brazil, genuine, and that's what we love doing.
You've explained your musical direction. Do you ever infuse like Brazilian folk music into your sound as well?
Not really. We're just like straight up rock and roll guys.
Yeah.
We're like AC/DC. We're like, just classic rock. And that's what we're trying to do to, with Army of the Sun. That's what we got those guys from LA, because we were like, okay, are we going to do this like the right way now, like really reinvent our sound with a more current swag, if you will, like a more current vibe of what's going on, or just do everything like we used to do it, and I think that's like, we always like wanted to have that more like American sound, if you will. Like we never like focused on like being like a Brazilian band. We're just like, we're a rock and roll band, like it doesn't matter if you're like from Thailand, if you love rock and roll, man, you're gonna get together, you're gonna turn on the amps, get some beers, and like get cranking,
Sure. What's your overall goal? In other words, is it to take over the U.S. or take over Europe? Because I'm going to tell you, what you described as Brazil is basically what's happening in the U.S. They're really, you can't make a living out of playing the U.S. anymore, but you could play the festivals. But in Europe, it seems to be more of a living.
We played a couple. We played like a lot of the big festivals in Brazil, like with Rolling Stones, and we've opened for Sabbath and all these bands. We just played we just did a small tour with Whitesnake. We played in Chile. You know what I mean? So we're just trying to get these like cool bands that want to give us a chance to kind of go on the road with them, because we feel like we have a connection, like with like Whitesnake. We're all Whitesnake fans. Mm-hmm. It made total sense, and the crowd is very similar to the crowd goes to our shows. So we're just trying to get the right opportunities. I feel like it's not only just like, we're gonna get to all the festivals, because like okay, they're going to get you a slot in the festival and they're going to give you a tent and you're going to play at noon.
Yeah.
You know, is that going to work? So it's all about like how it's done and the reason you're on the road. Like you have to release a single or something that, you know, it's going to be like, okay, we're releasing this and we're going to play some shows and have some fun and we're going to promote our new single. Or so that kind of like structure and kind of like schedule that we're trying to put together for next year.
All right. And tell me about your new single then. So you have, okay, Army of the Sun, sorry, was released not too long ago, but now you have a new single that you're working on, correct?
Correct.
So tell me about
It's
that.
called Here to Stay. Yeah, it's one of the, like, my favorite ballads from the record. It's called Here to Stay. It's a love song, and you know, it's just a classic, you know, hard rock ballad, if you will. And you know, people are just going crazy, man. We really didn't know like what was going to happen because we were like, because usually you know how it goes, like, you know, towards Christmas, like all the big artists like started releasing like ballads because it's like kind of like Christmas time.
Yep.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, we're kind of on the edge of the, like, you know what I mean? We're kind of on the tip of the, like, the, you know, we're like, it's like August, September, so like, okay, so we got to do it right now. But we were like expecting anything. So it's on the radio and it's out and like people are just like, they love it.
Cool.
And, you know, we're kind of like, okay, so let's hold on to like, you know, before we release the next one, and we don't know like what the next one is going to be, and we're in the middle of like pre-producing and getting all these ideas we have for like the next record. So we're just trying to keep it alive, man, you know?
So when's the next
Work
record?
hard and,
Do you have songs for the next record, or what's that looking like?
yes.
You already
It's amazing. It's like it's amazing what like the spirit and like and the fire that ignites when like the band started working on new material. So that's a very important thing for us too. Like, 'cause sometimes like, you know, the big bands and like the more old school way of doing things, if you will, like, you know, you would go to you would go on tour for like 18 months, like at least, and then like then you would like go home and kind of get your life together and like then think about the next record and that kind of thing. Like we're like, we want to just keep writing and keep putting ideas out because Army of the Sun really proved that, you know, it was like basically a rebirth for us.
All right.
So from now on, we want to keep new material out every time, every quarter. We're going to be releasing something new, and just keeping the fans like, because the fans love the songs, but they want to hear, you know, new songs too. So it's a cool thing that we can like give back, you know, to the fans. They're like, okay, man, we're working, you know, just hold on, and like, and when we come through like Canada or New York, and we're gonna party, and it's gonna be amazing.
Cool. In 2014, you shared the same stage as Guns N' Roses, Black Sabbath 2016, like you mentioned, the Rolling Stones 2016. I mean, these were part of festivals. I get it. Did you actually bump into Axl Rose? Did you bump into Slash? Any cool stuff happen? I don't know.
Not really, man. Yeah, we just, you know, shook hands. Like they're like really nice guys, you know, and we're just like we try not to be on anyone's way too, you know. If they want to come and say hi, you know, it's cool. But if they are just want to chill and like, and you know what I mean, do that thing, and like it's cool.
How about Black Sabbath? Black Sabbath, was it with Ozzy?
Ozzy's a character, man. You know, he's kind of only, you know, he's in his own world, kind of thing. You know.
You guys didn't have a beer together or anything like that? You didn't have a beer together, right? It's probably all closed off, right?
I think he's not drinking anymore. That's what I heard.
All right. How about Tony Iommi? Maybe trade, musical techniques? I don't know. No, you didn't get any contact with them?
Man. Tony Iommi is like, he's such a gentleman, and he's so cool.
All right. And then the Rolling Stones. I mean, you can't get bigger than Rolling Stones, right? In 2016. Any contact with those guys?
Oh yeah, we shook hands. Like Keith Richards has the strongest handshake of all time.
I will take note of that.
It's like you're shaking like your hands like just pliers, just like got a hold of your hands. You know what I mean?
How about Mick
You're
Jagger?
like,
Is he real? Is he a real or is he a robot? I don't know. Mick Jagger.
dude, it makes me think he's a robot. You know, when you're like watching that guy on stage, I'm like, no, this can't be real, dude. Come on.
How can you live that long?
Serious?
All right.
Dude,
So
no, but dude, he's like fit. He can dance. He can do it
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
And he does that for like 3 hours.
It's
you know?
amazing. It's truly
It's
amazing.
kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like esoteric. You know what I mean? You kind of you can't understand like what's going on.
All right. So the new album, The Army of the Sun, the single that's going to be released. So tell me about, like, a last question is like, what about what's next? What is a tour? Is it where you're going? Is it another country you're touring? What are you doing?
Yeah, like I said, like we got a couple of things that we haven't announced yet because, like, you know, obviously we're like structuring everything for 2020. 2020 is going to be probably our biggest year yet. We're playing on tour in the U.S. maybe in March. That's not in the books yet. It's kind of like being talked about. There's a couple of bands that are coming to Brazil that want us to open the shows to. A couple of big bands that we'll announce later this year or maybe like first quarter next year. So we're working on the record right now. We're in the studio. We've been working on new ideas, and we've been putting them all together and sending out to Bruno Agra, our producer, that lives in LA, and he's a native Brazilian, but he's been in LA for 15 years, and he's worked with everyone. He's now here in Brazil, and he's working on the new ideas with us, so we can start next year just like starting fresh and recording the album, and then go on tour in March, and hopefully release a song before the tour, and then festivals. Summer,
All right.
and maybe a fall tour. Like we've been trying to get to Europe, so we're working on it. Maybe a fall tour in Europe, and nothing like. These are all things that have been talked about. Like right now, we have the new album that we're working on, tour in March, and release like probably next February. And yeah, man, we're excited.
All right, there you have it.
Whole new, yeah, man.
Dr.
We're super
Pheabes,
excited.
Army of the Sun, plus a new album on its way, a new single, and they're going to be on tour, so watch out for them on 2020. Paulo, thank you very much for being a guest on the show.
Thank you, brother.
Talk soon.
All right, man.